Welcome to the online Spring 2018 session of the Research Design and Ethics course. Remember, you must pass this course with a C or higher in order to move into your senior block next fall semester. Since this is an online-only course, we will not be meeting face-to-face. Therefore, I would first like to get to know you all through posting in the introduction blog on Blackboard. Remember, your post in the blog is due before midnight on January 22nd so that I know you've shown up in the course. On this slide, you will see some suggestions about what information to post to your blog. I will post a response on your blog so that you know I've seen you have showed up in the course. Please post a photo of yourself and write a few sentences about your name, your area of practice or research interest, and describe what first comes to mind when you think about taking a research class. As you're thinking about your practice or research area of interest, think of something that you really are interested in terms of social work. It's got to be related to social work somehow, and you will follow this topic throughout your written assignments in this course. When you describe what first comes to mind when you think about taking a research class, please be honest and don't tell me what you think I want to hear or what sounds good or what, might get you some cool points. Just be honest about it. I've taught this course for several years at Clear Lake and here at TSU, and always ask social work students during the first day of class how they feel about taking a research course. Think about how you would answer this question. Watch the video located below this PowerPoint in Blackboard after you have thought about your answer. The video you're about to see is a summary of the most frequently occurring student responses to this question. Right now, you can push pause on this video and watch the video below. I made that video with a sense of humor, of course, and hope you enjoyed it. In general, lots of research has occurred studying this very same question. On this slide, you'll see some of what research has found in terms of what social work students think and how they feel about taking research courses. So you're not alone if you thought about, I only taking it because I have to, not because I want to. You're not alone if you think, well, what does research have to do with practice? I don't see why they're torturing me with having to take this class. I've already survived math and college algebra. And you just don't see the point of what research has to do with social work practice. You are not alone. In fact, many studies have surveyed students in social work all over the country and have found some of the exact same things. In addition, a lot of social work students have high levels of fear and anxiety when it comes to thinking about taking any research course. But don't get discouraged. There's also plenty of research that shows what we instructors can incorporate to build a course that will reduce the fear, reduce anxiety, and increase your competence and confidence in conducting research. Overall, studies have shown that two factors contribute to building successful BSW or baccalaureate research courses. These include making the research content relevant to social work practice and giving students a real-world example and real-world experience working with data. This is what we call experiential approaches to learning and is the foundation for building blocks of this course. There will be 2 lab assignments that you will complete in order to give you some hands-on experience with data. Since we will be missing the face-to-face component, it is imperative that you ask lots of questions for the labs. Each lab folder has a discussion board where you can post your questions about each lab. Posting your questions there will allow other students who have similar questions to see the answers. So our goal really through this course is to reduce your anxiety. We do that through humor. We do that through interaction and online lecture and relevance to social work practice. And we want to build your confidence and competence in understanding and applying research to social work practice. And if you have those qualities, then you are more likely to use research in practice. Why do social work students need to take research courses anyway? Remember, you're going to need 2 research courses. This is the first one, and then you will take Social Work 450 during the fall semester of your senior year. We do not offer these courses to torture you. There are several reasons outlined by CSWE, the Council on Social Work Education, and NASW, the National Association of Social Workers, as to the reasons why social workers need to take research. On this slide, you see that utilizing social work research is an ethical responsibility, and that is outlined first in our NASW Code of Ethics. Now, in previous years, you have studied the NASW Code of Ethics, the 1996 version. Well, just last year, they have updated and revised the NASW Code of Ethics. So the new Code of Ethics was revised in 2017. And there were lots of changes to this new Code of Ethics. But the ethical responsibility to utilizing and applying and sharing research has not changed. So in section 5.0.2, the evaluation and research section, there's a whole section in the code dedicated to ethical responsibility to evaluation and research. We are expected to evaluate our practice interventions. You can't do that without using research and numbers and math. We're expected to critically examine current knowledge. We have to stay up to date with research studies and information on best practice, etc. That is our ethical responsibility. We also have to follow guidelines developed to protect human participants. And you will, at some point in your social work career, throughout your social work career, be a part of or be leading a study or be a liaison for a study that involves your clients or your client population. You're going to have to know how to create an ethically sound informed consent form. You're going to know how to have to know how to report evaluation and research findings accurately. That means you're going to have to understand how to interpret research findings. And then, share them in a language that your audience can understand. And you have to be educated about responsible research practices. This is not a requirement only for NASW members. This is an expectation for all social workers. CSWE, the body that accredits social work programs, also states in their educational policy and accreditation standards that understanding and utilizing social work research fulfills a variety of required competencies and practice behaviors. CSWE outlines a total of 9 practice competencies, which are things that social work students should be able to know and do upon graduation. And research is covered in several of them on this slide as well as continued on the next slide. So you see here, just like the NASW Code of Ethics, the CSWE requirements state that students have to be familiar with, understand, and apply research methodologies, right? Demonstrate ethical and professional behavior. It's outlined in that section. Right? Make ethical decisions by applying standards and ethical conduct of research. So we have to know how to conduct ourselves in a way that minimizes harm to our research participants and maximizes benefit. We have to engage in research-informed practice and practice-informed research. That means we have to utilize it, we have to digest it, and then we have to use it, right? We have to be able to read it, understand it, and apply it. So we have to use practice, experience, and theory to inform our scientific inquiry and research, And then apply critical thinking while we are analyzing quantitative and qualitative research methods and findings. We also have to use and translate research evidence to inform and improve practice, policy, and service delivery. So you cannot be a social worker and get away from the responsibility of utilizing and understanding research. In terms of assessment, we have to collect and organize data, be able to do that competently, interpret information from clients and constituencies, and select appropriate intervention strategies based on assessment and research knowledge, as well as the values of the clients and constituencies. So everything is connected, and research is connected to everything. In terms of evaluation, with different variety of systems, we have to be able to select and use appropriate methods for evaluation of outcomes. So you have to know how to evaluate to see if your intervention worked well, right? And what criteria will you use to determine what well means? You have to apply HUBC, the Human Behavior and Social Environment, the PIE model, and other theoretical frameworks in the evaluation of outcomes. So we can't just measure things for the sake of measuring things. We have to explain why we're measuring them and what is the evidence that these things are related. For example, if you're going to do cognitive behavioral therapy or mindfulness as an intervention, you have to be able to use some type of theory that explains why those two things are connected, why one has an impact on the other. We also have to critically analyze, monitor, and evaluate intervention, program, processes, and outcomes, and apply evaluation findings to improve practice at all levels, whether it's with an individual or with communities. In general, there are three main roles. Right here, that you will find yourself in. Your knowledge and skills in social work will help you to fulfill these one or all of these three main roles while you're in your social work career. The first is your role as a research consumer. This refers to your ability to keep up with, understand, critique, and apply the latest research studies on best practice with your clients. Research should always be a part of what informs our practice with clients. This is part of being an evidence-based practitioner. In terms of this part, while you're a student, you have access to lots of research studies through our TSU library database. That's part of your benefit of paying fees with your tuition. But I want you to think about this barrier. When you graduate and you're not paying tuition and fees, how will you then access these peer-reviewed studies or these original research studies to inform your practice? We'll have to get very creative about how to access those when you don't have that connection as an undergraduate. The second role is creator disseminator, and that's another role in the generalist social work practice. You will be responsible for creating your own research, evaluating your own practice with clients, and sometimes you will be responsible for sharing those results. This could take the form of giving case presentations to the staff at your agency, preparing a report for publication, or making a presentation at a conference, like the NASW Texas Annual State Conference, which will be coming up next fall. And lastly, you might be working at an agency and will be approached by, let's say, the National Institute of Mental Health. The National Institute of Mental Health might want to access your client population for a study they're conducting. As a contributing partner, you may be responsible for making sure that this study is being conducted ethically and that your clients are being protected from any undue harm during or as a result of the research. This concludes the research relevance lecture. So again, you're not in this course just because we felt like it or because we want to torture you. We're teaching you this course because it is an ethical responsibility of social workers to know how to use research to inform their practice, to improve their practice, to assess their practice and evaluate their practice. And we are expected to contribute also to the knowledge base and share that with others. This concludes the lecture on relevance of research to social work. Please email or stop by my office with any questions.